to spend it on you. There's no steel, there's no stone that can stop it. It's just gravity breaking through. Oh, I could get used to this losing my balance like I do when you're in the room. It feels like I'm falling, don't make any sense, but you have that effect on me. What I really wanna say is I'm crazy about you. No, I don't wanna find a way to go through this life without you. I can't breathe, I can't sleep, I can't close my eyes and dream another minute till I tell you what I really wanna say. Oh, I might have to try to make mountains fly and tell you how I feel today. When I open my mouth, let the words fall out, no more moments get in the way. Caught up in your smile, I lose track of time, but you have that effect on me. What I really wanna say is I'm crazy about you. No, I don't wanna find a way to go through this life without you. I can't breathe, I can't sleep, I can't close my eyes and dream another minute till I tell you what I really wanna say. Well, the only thing I'm afraid of is letting this slip away, love. Well, that's all gonna change tonight. What I really wanna say is I'm crazy about you. No, I don't wanna find a way to go through this life without you. I can't breathe, I can't sleep, I can't close my eyes and dream another minute till I tell you what I really wanna say. Oh, I don't wanna let it slip away, baby. That's what I really wanna say.
Mute the mic there. We'll start again. As all things there, we should probably unmute the mic. Hey, I am super honored and super excited. Danielle over on Instagram, if you want to actually watch it, text the word join. Can you punch in the number there, Audrey? Text the word join to 402-347-9770. Those that are watching on Instagram over here and on Clubhouse, we're super excited. 347-977.
Got it.
There we go. That right number. That'll make a good difference there. We're super excited to have Stephen Cade, singer-songwriter from Nashville, Tennessee, join us this morning. And we want you to actually jump on YouTube right here for any comments, questions that you want to ask him. And we're very privileged to I met Stephen actually, what was it? I think a couple weeks ago, and we'll dive into that when we bring him on stage here with us. And he dropped in a room with us on Clubhouse, and it was just I think he had every single dad to tears with with his song. So a very talented musician. We got Jason Alt there. We got Steve. Thank you for jumping on. Let's not make you guys wait anymore. Audrey will keep that coming over here. We're gonna go ahead and keep the number in memory there and just keep posting it there so that way people can join. So again, if you're on Clubhouse, text the word join to 402-347-9770. All right, Stephen, good morning.
Morning, Joel. How are you doing today? Great to see you.
It's good to see you too, man. There's always a few little snafus that happen, right?
Oh yeah.
We have going live.
Par for the course. Come on.
That's right. For sure. So thank you, by the way, first of all, for joining us this morning. You and I just met, as I was explaining to everyone. You and I just met, what was it, a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's crazy how time flies. I feel like I've known you forever, though.
Oh, awesome. But he dropped in on a room with us in Clubhouse and played a song for us, played the sneak peek to a song. And I think we had every single dad in tears. And I think even the non-dads were in tears there too. It's just a touching song. You're a very talented artist. So I invited Stephen on here because you know what, if whatever I can do to help get him out there and in my part, that's what I wanted to share with our audience as well. So, Stephen, let's just simply start with, how about you tell us a little bit about who are you?
That's a good question. Yeah. Well, I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. All right, and I have family in Texas. I moved to California when I was just getting into high school, which was culture shock because I had to learn how to speak surf language right away.
Right.
And then I basically started my music career in Southern California, and I would travel back and forth to Los Angeles, to San Diego to play different venues there, write songs, perform. Our band got pretty successful. We got signed, and I met my wife. She was going to San Diego State University. I was playing in a bar. At a bar called the Beachcomber, and so I just basically I went through the whole I wanted to be the biggest rock star in the universe syndrome, right? I think everybody wants to do that. Everybody wants to be a rock star, right? It's just like Adam Duritz said from Counting Crows. We all want to be big rock stars, but we have so much different meaning than that. But I mean, bottom line is, I then unfortunately got sick with encephalitis meningitis, and I almost died. It took me about 10 years to recover from that, but through that, God intervened. Honestly, I got saved. I turned my life over to Christ. My wife and I got married. We had 2 beautiful kids, and since then, I have been pursuing my solo career and leading worship in church and just building towards where I'm at now, which is now Nashville, Tennessee. And so the story now really begins here. Really, it's a lot of great things happened in the past, but today's, the day that great things are happening. So looking forward to what's coming up. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, I mean, going back, what's your driving force?
And this is why I'm here today, because everything has culminated to this moment. My family, my mom and dad got divorced when I was 13 years old, and it was it's nothing to shake a stick at. I think that when people get married, it should be forever. Yeah. There should be no ifs, ands, or buts. And this is the way I was raised, except my mom and dad didn't make that. And that's not that I have a resentment against my mom and dad at all. I love them to death, and they moved on and done other things. But and in terms of they've married other people. My mom has. My dad actually never got married. But the bottom line is 45% of all marriages end in divorce. And I vowed that I would never do that. And if it meant me not getting married, then I'm not going to get married. But God had other plans. And, I just feel like marriage is strong, family strong. And so I've written this song called Pinky Promise that I played the other night for you guys at Clubhouse. And this song is already getting a lot of traction, and it's getting a lot of great, I don't want to go too far ahead of our interview, but I'm so excited about what's to come. That's really who I am, is a dad that loves his family, and I want to see other dads bring Christ back into their families.
Yeah, I think right now, I mean, you're touching on something I think that's really, really a critical thing. Is people, I think, get so caught up in things that are going on right now that it makes me think of a scripture, because I'm an avid Bible student myself. Anyone that talks to me long enough will find that one out. But it's what we see in the world happening right now is people calling what is bad good and what's good bad, and there's and it's with the threshold or the message of that you have to accept everything, and unfortunately there's the people that I think spread so much hate. Right. And what I think a lot of people miss is that, tolerance has decency as a boundary. It's a critical component towards, we may have differences of opinions, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. Or that doesn't mean we hate one another, though.
That's right.
I mean,
well, that's the way I grew up, honestly, Joel, is we would have discussions about whether it was, what was your favorite football team or rock band or your politician. It was all the same emotion, which it was, there wasn't a heightened level of emotion, yelling and calling each other names and backbiting and things. It was a civil discussion.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's where we can have, I mean, warranted, we may be really, really passionate about that. We may be really passionate about what we're feeling on the moment. But yeah, like you said, it needs to be civil. It needs to be something that we're willing to have just a conversation at, and realize we may have a difference of opinion there. I always kind of explain to people, I'm like, hey, listen, I do believe strongly. And, one of the things that I always want to do is spread the truth.
Right.
Matter. But if I'm wrong, I really want to know, because that means I've been lied to, and I don't like being lied to.
Right.
So, what I want to make sure of is that, hey, listen, if you got some truth for me, I want to know it.
Yeah.
What it means. But let's do it both ways, though. I mean, that's a discussion. So,
well, I feel you the same way, and really the music that I create has such a message behind it. Most artists today will write songs. I mean, I don't mean to cast judgment on people or anything, but they'll write songs about tailgates and short skirts and tan legs and, whiskey at the bar and all these things. And it's like our society has advanced. It actually has advanced, which is a good thing, right? I wouldn't want to be riding on a wheel and carriage, from 100 years ago and blowing out my candle. I mean, we have technology now that is so fast. We're on something right now that's carrying over sound waves, which is amazing. And that being said, it's like, I think we should also advance in our, in thinking in terms of like, can we just get along? Can we just get along for a little bit here? Yeah, I'm trying to write positive message songs that will, affect people's lives in ways that, my family, I feel like, is a living testament to what a father can be. In terms of, I'm an entrepreneur, just like you are, just like everybody on Clubhouse is. There's no difference. I have a service, I have a product, except the difference is that I'm not making millions. I'm not ashamed to say I'm not making millions. Will I one day? Yes, thankfully I will. And I will be able to turn that money and be a good steward for God with it. But the difference is that a lot of people, gentlemen, and I've met so many, Joel, over the years, I can't even tell you how many people I've met that have said, gosh, I wish I would give everything. I'd get everything I have just to have my family back right now.
Right. It's the moments you miss, right? Would you say it's your faith that inspired you on the music?
Absolutely. Right now, my walk with the Lord is so, I mean, in the mornings I have, my scriptures that I'm reading. I'm praying throughout the day. I mean, it's so close right now. This is what's fueling me right now. This
Right.
is the only way that I get up in the morning.
I love it. I love it. I mean, that's the very first thing. I love it, man. It's I'm glad I've met you here, because that's you and I think are gonna be longtime friends here. I already feel about that way. But it's like the first thing that I always do. The first thing I turn to is a scripture in the morning.
You have to. There's the first words out of my mouth. I'm going to be honest, and my wife probably thought I was going crazy. I was like, "Thank you, Lord." That's the first words out of my mouth, literally. And my prayer before my feet touch the ground every morning is, "Lord, order my steps, direct my steps today. Let your will be done in my life. I give this day to you, Lord, because I know you could do way better with it than I can." So yeah.
I'm the same way. We woke up healthy. We're alive. My children are healthy. Thank you.
Oh,
yeah. Thanks be to him.
I mean, goodness, that in itself, when we make $50 million, 100, 1 billion, 10 billion, 150, keep going. It doesn't matter at that point. I was reading, actually, one of the scriptures, it says you have to be faithful with little before you can get much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those that are faithful in the least will be faithful in much, along those lines, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Man, why do you think people, and this is kind of off even some of the questions that I was going to ask, why do you think people like move away from that?
Well, because of the dawn of time. If you look back, every answer that we have is in the Bible. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. You just have to go. You have to go there. People go and look. I have nothing against authors. There's best-selling authors. There's amazing books out there. I've read them too. But the #1 best-selling book of all is the Bible.
Yeah.
That's where all the answers are. But people will take the Bible and they will go through life, and then they'll write their own Bible, if that makes sense. Whatever that Bible is.
Well, it's not to say there's a lot of fine books. There's a lot of books that have helped me a lot. And if anybody knows me enough there too, like the 10X rule has been a game changer for myself and my family because of the way that I've approached business.
Yes.
Spirituality.
Come back to the family.
Yes.
And family, right? Mm-hmm. It was one of those things that actually, and I think you're just kind of getting introduced to Grant Cardone and 10X a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. But it was one of those things. I looked at it because I reasoned, and I think you'll appreciate this. I reasoned like, hey, listen, I really resonate with what I'm hearing here, but if I can't use it in a spiritual side first, I got to throw it away.
Yeah.
And the principle behind that was the empty philosophies of men, right?
Oh.
The scriptures warn us about that. So isn't it? It's kind of cool, like the guidance there, like you're saying, it's like that. It's the bestseller. It's tested, advice over time. And for those of you joined, by the way, this was not a gospel Beatles-driven version. Okay, this was really, we're getting into the heart here with our friend Stephen Cade, as far as what's really driving him, what drives him on his, how he writes, his music, all of those things. And man, we could go on for hours. Just
you know what, Joel, and I appreciate that. And really, my life, I will always point it back to Jesus. This is just when I win the Grammy, Jesus. When I win the ACM, Jesus. And I'm going to keep pointing it back to him, and that's just who I am. Now, I love the technical part of life. I love the nitty-gritty part of life.
Yeah. This
is why we're here. Why? And to go back to your answer of why do you think people are the way they are? I mean, really, this is a question we'll ask God when we get to heaven, but Adam and Eve started this whole thing, right? So right. If you go back to the Bible and you try to think about the condition, the mental condition of a man and the way the women think, it's just it's serving yourself. Really, I think it comes down to being selfish. And a lot of people don't know what sacrifice is, and that's why we got Jesus. Thank you, Lord.
Right. Well, it's I always look at it this way: is there's the master deceiver, right? And he tries to distract us from a lot of things, and he puts pressures on us in a lot of different ways.
Oh,
And so we always, if we always keep feeling. There's a book that I'm reading here recently, and one of the statements in there I really liked. It talked about how your mind finds what it's familiar with, right? And so. That is that's applicable in so many different ways from a business standpoint. If you think that, hey, everybody's going to tell you no, guess what? Everybody's going to tell you. They're going to tell you no.
right. Yeah.
I would imagine along your journey, which I want to get back more into. It's like, what's been your journey? I'm sure you had a lot of no's along the way.
Oh man.
What's been that journey? Because you hear about how these people, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, all those different types of just phenomenal people. Where's your journey been?
My journey has been, there has been an immense amount of rejection, and what I've actually done is I've collected I have a folder that has all of the no's I've ever had. So one day.
Nice. Okay. One
day, but not now. And I'll have to dedact because I don't want to put names out there and things like that. But, right. I will say that fueled me a lot because I've always wanted to do something great, but I wanted to do it for the wrong reasons most of the time. And so when I found out what we were talking about, our why, that really brought it all full circle back to me. And it says, I think that if we put our energy and time in the right place, if we focus that's one of the hardest things to do in anything you do in life. I never thought I would have kids. I couldn't even imagine having kids, and now I still look at my kids and I'm like, I still can't believe I have kids. I raised them, you know what I mean? And it's such a blessing to see that they turn into good, outstanding young people.
Right.
You want to raise them, you want to get them in church, let them introduce them to the Lord. They carry themselves with dignity. They carry themselves with pride. And, but my journey has been one of, if it has not been easy now, but then I always think to myself, put it in perspective. There's somebody else that has it way worse than you do. Honestly, there's somebody who can't walk today. There's somebody who's on the street who can't buy food. You could go down the line forever. And so you have to put things in perspective, and then you have to use exercise, which is one of the hardest things for me to do, is patience. I don't like that word, but patience is truly one of the gifts of the Spirit. Mm-hmm. And it's probably my least favorite, honestly. I love joy, peace. I love all those other things.
Right.
But man, when it comes to patience, it's like, oh Lord, you had to put that one in there.
Well, I think our kids fight with that one. You take any kid on a long road trip, right?
Yeah.
Are we there yet?
Yeah.
Are we there yet? How do you overcome that? I got a curious question on that, because that's, speaking of kids, how do you overcome that patience?
Well, like you have your lovely wife next to you. That is how I do it. I do it with my wife, and I are the best team, and she is, she's a former algebra 7th grade teacher.
Oh.
So
wow.
I get out of her way and let her use her math in her mind, which is ridiculous. It's superior, way over my math. And it inspires me, but we team up. And we find a way to, pray into our kids' lives. When there is a situation, we're always on top of it. We don't because kids are kids, right? They're going to lie. They're going to do little things that they just don't know that are right. So
they're learning.
They're not trying to hurt you. They just don't know it's not right yet.
Right.
So the best thing is to do is just take care of the situation right there, as fast as you can. And let them know this is not the way whatever that behavior is, speak against that behavior. You know what I mean? But some parents, and I noticed this, and you guys have probably seen this too, you know, before COVID, people were at a mall, they were at a shopping mall, or they were at a church or whatever, and they're letting kids run like crazy.
Right.
There's no restraint, and you have to practice restraint. You have to exemplify that. Boundaries. Man, I mean, there got to be set boundaries. And so this is something that my wife and I truly bring into our family is trying to set boundaries as much as we can.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I think that's where like that statement, I heard that before, is like boundaries are important. We do have to have boundaries. I think we're in a world that is trying to remove all boundaries. And I think that's important in some ways, but we have to, I think, you know, we're going to lose our humanity if we don't have decency as those boundaries, right? For tolerance. So there's certain things, there's just a balance there. We could go on and on and on.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I always look at it too, like that patience thing. You know, the best way that I found myself, and I would love to hear how you found, is, you know, to combat that lack of patience. Like, I want to get there, you know? So the best way I always think of it like our children. I don't know. How old are your children, by the way?
My son is 12 and my daughter is 9.
Okay.
Was that them in the video or no?
Yeah, that was them.
Oh, I wondered. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was a couple years ago now. It seems like a few years. It goes so fast.
They have dark hair like you. I was like, I think those are his littles.
Yeah.
Yes. But I always, so now they school, so they got summer vacation, things like that.
My wife, like I mentioned, was an educator for 17 years in Southern California, and the district that she taught in was the highest rated district in California. And so their STAR testing and everything was through the roof. I mean, just ridiculous. So she taught kids, and their parents were extremely concerned about their education.
Right.
To a point where it was almost, you'd shake your head and go, really? I mean, you don't really, a 99.8 isn't good enough. Mm-hmm. I mean, but we're talking in algebra honors. I mean, we're talking, and we're also talking about a child that was maybe in 7th grade, but taking 8th grade math, you know, that right. type of thing. So my wife is an educator. She knows how to handle all of the education in terms of the house. She is the homeschool mom, good. The chief homeschool mom. I call her the principal. All right. And so she gets it done. And really, I try to help where I can, but she's so in tune with that. And she understands the public school. She understands that. And now she understands the homeschooling system, which is totally different than the public school system. Right. So we've been homeschooling now for about since the new semester. But prior to that, when COVID hit, you had the option to either homeschool your kids online or send them to school with a mask. And we don't want to send our kids to school with a mask, honestly, because it just, and I don't mean to get political or medical about that stuff, but I grew up, look, we were fortunate. You guys probably grew up like me without masks, unless we were going to a Halloween costume party. I mean, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're definitely in some different times. I mean, that's the simple way to say it. We are in some unique time, and what we thought would mark our youth, our children definitely are being marked right now, you know, in so many ways.
The pictures, the memories, the experiences are all very different.
It breaks my heart to think about what you just said. The pictures and the memories. I mean, their friends will have masks. Some of them have masks on when they take their school picture. It's like Bizarro World, Twilight Zone, a backwards movie that it's like it's a weird movie. It's a David Lynch movie is what we're in.
There you go. So what's your favorite song to perform out of it? We played one of them. Tell us a little bit about that song. We played what was it? Was that On My Way?
No.
You played probably what I really want to say.
Yes.
Yeah, what I really
absolutely.
say. What I really want to say. Yeah, there you go. What's your favorite song to play?
Gosh, that's almost asking who's my favorite
Yeah.
kid.
I was just going to say, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Right.
It really is. Because now look, songs are nowhere near as important or valuable as children.
Right.
Nowhere. Right. But a lot of the time songwriters, will refer to their songs as kids or, their child and it's only because we pour so much of our emotion into the song and time. Mm-hmm. And we want to see it grow up and do something great. That's the analogy. But essentially, I love all my songs. I mean, some of them I've written probably over 500 songs easily. But I have about 250 that are inside of ASCAP. I have 50 that are published. So, and I just wrote a song yesterday. So, I mean, I'm writing, and today, in fact, when I'm done here on your awesome show, I'm going to write another song. So with some writers here in Nashville. So I'm trying to write because writing is so much fun. It's just, it's right. Like, and you meet the most interesting people in the world and they're wonderful people, and so, yesterday I was with Andy Renfree and Bill Luigio, and today I'm with Campbell Davis and Sarah Spencer. So, I mean, it's, this is, and we get in and we share our feelings. It's almost like we do it Zoom, which is not that fun anymore, But right. but we get we get a song and then we run with it. But yeah, one of my favorite songs as of recent is Pinky Promise because it's just so awesome. It just got such a powerful message.
Yes. Can I say a little something?
Yeah.
When he was up late that night with you, and I had been on Clubhouse but had gone to bed, and he played it for me the next morning, and just one single line in it about missing things. I'm going to start crying. Every dad, especially entrepreneur, knows about this because there are times where to provide for your family, you have to miss your family. And you hit it on the head perfectly without making them feel guilty or bad about it, but it just hits the heart in the right spot.
It's just a really good reminder that we don't get to have for number one, God is like renting our kids to us. That's, you know what I mean? And that's the first thing we got to remember. And that's something I've prayed before as well. It's like, Lord, I know you're letting me borrow these kids. Thank you. And I want to do the best I can to get your word inside of their little pretty hearts. I mean, I got to do, that's what I got. That's the only thing I do. Let me do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I know there's going to be more. There's more than that, but I feel like you said, with dads, it's, we just need a reminder every once in a while, just to slow down.
Yeah.
You've helped him do that. I've seen him take a few more moments each day with our daughter and our son too. Seriously, since 2 weeks ago, no joke. And it helps their home, but at the same time, we have to be present. We can all be under the same roof, but being present.
Oh.
So I appreciate your song. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Audrey. That's so cool.
There we go. Jason Alt says Pinky Promise is more than a song. It's a movement for all dads.
Yeah. It needs mainstream radio. This has got to get to mainstream radio, Stephen.
I so much agree with you, Audrey. This song, I've talked about it with my friend who's a former Marine, and he's a brother in Christ as well. His name is Daniel Jordan. I love Daniel, and he has a passion to really speak into, he has 3 daughters, and so he knows a little bit about parenting, right?
That's tougher than being a Marine.
Oh yeah, he'll say that. He'll tell you all day that's tougher. But and what I want to do, and Daniel and I have been talking about this, and you guys can help me, pray into this or just think about it, and maybe if you know some folks. But I want to create an experience where fathers are awakened to love, honor, and cherish their sons and daughters. And I want to I'd love to create a movement out of a song, kind of like the Why Would Jesus Do That movement, or Promise Keepers movement, or something on that scale.
Wow. Yeah. Yes, that would definitely be huge. What do you think would take to get there?
Okay, so now there goes the business mind. I've activated Jules business mind.
There you go.
And really, what we need is some kingdom-minded investors, some family-focused investors, that love the Lord, that serve the Lord. And these gentlemen have to know that it's going to be a cause. It's not, they can't look at it as a for-profit. Although we can still make it a for-profit. There's no reason why we can't.
Right.
An entity, I believe a movement can be a nonprofit and a for-profit at the same time. You tell me, Joel. I don't know. This is where you're the businessman.
No, I think it can be both. Anything can be anything.
If a hospital's a nonprofit, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of hospitals of nonprofit, like I just met the wealth manager for the person that started HCA. You know that hospital? Have you ever heard of HCA?
No, I haven't.
Well, go check out HCA. It's a huge, basically hospital organization. They're teaching nurses, but basically the Frist family started that. They're based here in Nashville, but they found out that helping hospitals become more for-profit than nonprofit was the way to do it. This was way back then in the 60s. This is way back when all hospitals were mainly nonprofit. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I met them, and I met one of their wealth managers, and it's just amazing to get into the mind of business people, because really that's what I'm hoping to get, is surrounding me right now with people who are business minded, because I know the creative part of it. That I can throw a rock at a songwriter right now. I'm in Nashville. I live in Franklin. I live miles away from the guy that wrote Faith Hill's biggest song. I mean, that's how that is around here. But I need now people who can help me make that impact by helping me think through the steps to do that, if that makes sense.
Right. So, I mean, what it comes down to, I mean, you got great mediums already, just obviously to expand that.
Right.
Because even with people, that doesn't stop the activity level that's going to be required to make it happen. Right. And that's the hard part, though, too, when you think about it, right? Because you have these beautiful children, and so now you got to balance that out too.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I love it.
Well, and if I could say one thing about that, I was talking to my friend Anthony Zalesi, who is also the type of guy that buys and sells companies. It's interesting to try to break down someone's mind who starts a company up and then sells it for $10 million 3 years later, and then just keeps doing that.
Right. Yeah.
He's someone special to know.
Yeah. What's it take to get there, right?
And thank you, Lord, that he puts people like that in my life so that I can ask them questions humbly, because I'm not going to tell him, what a Neapolitan chord looks like. He doesn't really, if he wanted to know, I could tell him. But I mean, he's, there's just everybody has a different gifting, and you have to honor that. Really, that's at the end of the day. I cannot sit here and tell you that I'm going to make Fortune's 500 magazine because I became Tesla's predecessor, or whatever. I can't remember, Elon Musk's predecessor. That's not my goal. My goal is to create content that will change people's lives in a positive way. And so this is where I'm trying to get, people surrounding me that can help me scale that up. So yes, please keep that in prayer. Please put it out to your network. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. What is the one fellow musician you admire the most?
It's like asking my favorite song again. Can't do
that.
No. Probably so, right?
Well, you know what? Somebody asked me that question the other day, but they asked it a little bit different. My answer, and it sounds cliche, but it's actually Elvis, to be honest with you.
That's a good one.
I love it.
Because Elvis, if he was the greatest entertainer that lived here. Okay. And it's hard for people. No one can deny that. Okay. It's so that's why I go, it's almost like saying Mercedes suck. I mean, come on, what are you, right? I mean, you don't say that,
right.
you just say that's a great car, and that's just what you say. So I try to go with the things that I know that in my heart were things that I wanted to achieve to that level, if that makes sense. I wanted to
Right.
rise to that level of a musician or a writer or a performer. And so, yeah, he's probably he's the top.
Love it.
Can I ask one
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
How did you transition from rock to country? Was it just tell us that one.
Yeah, thank you. So
I love country, so that's why I'm curious.
yeah, I like I mentioned earlier, I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. So I lived like literally 2 miles away from a bar they called Mickey Gillies. And Mickey Gillies was a place where people like Charlie Daniels would come through. All these acts way back in the day before they were big, before they were legacy acts, they came through. And so I was exposed to all that at a very young age, up until I moved to California. That's when it all changed.
Culture shock.
Yeah. California, that's where I learned about the Doors and the Chili Peppers and Stone Temple Pilots and, you know, reggae and ska and all these different types of music. And that's when I kind of went, man, this is nothing like country music. And it was kind of neat. And I was a teenager and, you know, it was like, I think I can do this, you know, so that's where, but then I made the transition, honestly, after I've always been a songwriter at heart. So it was really when I got sick with encephalitis, meningitis, that was when I gave my heart to the Lord. And I just didn't want to be in that scene anymore.
Right.
And there's not, I have friends back there that are good friends to this day. And I love them and I respect them, but I just don't need to be there.
Yeah. Good job on getting well. That is that. When you said that, I went, oh, that's amazing.
What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Man. Oh, you know what? Just recently, my grandmother, who was a war bride, she was German. My grandfather was a World War II vet in Big Red 1, which is the 1st Infantry Division. My grandmother lived to be 93. She just passed away last August.
I'm sorry.
She was just like a second mother to me. And she was on a FaceTime call with me. And I was here in Nashville and she was in California. And my mom had the phone up to my, I call her Oma because that's what you call, you know, your Oma in German. And so she looks and she says, Stephen, whatever you do, follow the Lord all the days of your life.
He's making me cry.
It's like the best advice.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Simple.
Right.
Just simple. You know, and so I thought, you know, and those were some of her last words that were coherent.
Right.
And so I knew it was coming from such a pure place. But yeah, those are simple words, but it's what I got to do.
Well, there's, you know, obviously that there's scriptural, it's time tested and it's action, right? Because if you're going to follow, you're moving.
Yes.
Active. Yeah.
Right.
Active.
That's right.
Right.
Yes.
It's not a stagnant thing, is it? Right. No, by no means. So that's beautiful. I mean, it's like it's always interesting. It's like the some of the most impactful things advice wise usually comes in the least amount of words.
You remember those words. You just, they're planted somewhere in the either the right brain or left brain, wherever it is. It's like you remember, you know, your times tables, right? And you know, that's something I never want to forget. I mean, and I know that, you know, you probably know the same thing. I look to advice from older gentlemen who have walked the walk and that are mature in the Lord. And I listen to them because they're going through things that I'm not yet going to go through. I have not been there yet. Right.
Right.
And so I try to hear what they're saying and try to get a little bit of wisdom.
Right.
Knowing that going forward, this is, the Bible says that we are going to suffer. It just says that plain out. I mean, but at the same time, we can have victory. We can have victory in the suffering. And I love that. And that's what keeps us hoping and keeps faith alive. That's what keeps me driving forward. And really it's, Clubhouse, and not to beat, I mean, it's interesting. I'll talk about Clubhouse for just a second here. I got introduced to Clubhouse about a week and a half ago, and I jumped on it right away. And it's so interesting. That application is like no other application I've ever experienced.
Oh,
and I've been on Vine, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Patreon, Rumble. I mean, I've been on, Parler. I've been on YouTube. I mean, everything. But it's just got such a unique way for people to communicate. And I really hope that app is going to be used mostly for good.
Yeah.
As opposed to it going the other way. Because I think this is a moment right now. This is the moment right now where that app can do one of the two.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I see it already. I jump on and I hear people cursing and swearing and backbiting and gossiping and calling this room that and I'm just like, I want to leave the room, and that's great. We can leave the room, right? But that doesn't mean that room doesn't exist. But it's interesting how when I first started, it didn't seem like, even just in the last few days, it seems like it's kind of gone in a sort of a negative way. But it could be my interests. I don't know. Music has a lot of different personalities.
Yeah. Well, and it comes down to, I think it's just like in life. It's like, good associations spoil useful habits. So, or bad association. I'm sorry, I get that.
Who you surround yourself with, yeah.
So yeah, good association is going to bring good habits there. Bad association is going to spoil the good ones.
Yes.
And so there's unfortunately there's people that are on there that are going to be Tony. And, hey, those that are on Clubhouse right now, by the way, if you want to join and watch live on YouTube, text the word join to 402-347-9770.
Was your first time on Clubhouse that night? You sang in that room for all those guys?
It was.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I get goosebumps over that one, man. That's like,
yeah.
Imagine
he came to bed. He's like, you got to hear this song. You got to know who this guy is.
Yeah. That's phenomenal.
And I'll tell you what's interesting, you guys, is that I've been doing this so long that I've met singers, songwriters, musicians, and performers. I don't even know how to tell you the amount that will never know who you'll never know who they are.
Right.
And not only have I met so many of them, but I've met amazing ones, like ones that are like virtuosos, ones that are unbelievably talented, but they can't focus. They can't get the message out. They can't follow through.
Right.
Follow through is a big deal. Right. I mean, if you look at it, everything is follow through. It's just amazing.
Yeah. And probably not taking those rejections so personal that it stops you from continuing. My mom, we were watching Super Bowl and halftime show, and she was talking about very talented musicians. And she was saying how they do things, or especially females showing too much skin. She goes, they don't need to do that. They have a great voice. They can make it with that. Right. And I'm like, to get into the industry, though, I'm not justifying anything bad here, but I'm like, it's a lot more work than just having a good voice.
Oh,
you're a testament to that. There, so many skilled people, talented people will never hear or know because it takes so much to break through and get in there.
It's breaking through the noise.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the barrier like no other barrier you can ever imagine. I'm going to say honestly, and not to take anything away from, look, there's medical personnel people, there's soldiers and firemen and policemen and doctors. But the musicians are so close to that because it's so difficult to become successful, even moderately successful, because this is a rags to riches profession. There's not a lot of middle income musicians. That percentage is so small, it's ridiculous. I mean, they're all doing side hustles.
Right.
Yeah, Nashville's full of that. Yeah.
Yeah, you like, for instance, even Blake Shelton he was doing a side hustle. You know what it was? The Voice, right?
Interesting. Yeah. Wow.
Because look at George Strait. Did George Strait ever do American Idol or The Voice?
He did a movie though.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that was great. That was great.
He did a movie, and sometimes they dabble. Look, I mean, that's back to Elvis. I mean, he was in both. So much to the fact that he ripped him apart, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, you have to pick a lane and be really good at that. Right. I'm a firm believer of the Mariano Rivera theory. Okay, Mariano Rivera was the closing pitcher for the New York Yankees, the #1 closing pitcher of all time. He wasn't a great batter. He wasn't a great catcher. He was a great closing pitcher, and he figured those pitches out, and he made a great career out of it.
Awesome. Yeah, and looking back at Blake Shelton too, this is funny. When he finally really, really hit it big, I was like, I looked back at past songs he sang. I'm like, oh, I've been liking him for years. I just didn't realize it was him until a certain point. And some people come out of the gate, like Faith Hill, you knew Faith Hill from the beginning, but Blake Shelton, not so much. So everybody's story is a little different like that.
It is. And it everybody hits a little bit different, but again, it's, there's so many different, and then you got the songwriters, which you'll never know who the songwriters are.
Right.
You'll never know. I mean, Chris Stapleton wrote songs for Kenny Chesney. Nobody even knows that they're singing Chris Stapleton. I mean, now they know Chris Stapleton, but
I love right now in the industry, a lot of writers are now doing what you're doing, what Chris has done. What's that girl's name? There's that blonde chick. Oh, I can't think of her name, but they've switched roles, which is good. It's good. It's exciting to see.
Yeah. You really have to, in the profession, in the music songwriting profession, you have to write the songs, and you've got to be able to present and perform them at the highest level. Both. You have to be able to do both.
Right.
To even have a shot at it. And I was talking to my friend. He's like, man, I've seen so many acts and so many, he's like, but I would tell you if you didn't have a shot.
Right.
He's
that's
like,
a good friend. That's a good friend.
Yeah, that's a good friend.
Nice. What would you change? Okay, so I got one last question here in relation to this, and then we'll wrap it up. Would you possibly play us Pinky Promise?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He's got a guitar.
I see the guitar.
Did you just pull that up? Has that been there the whole time?
It's been there. So
right there.
Going back to think, what would you change in the industry if you could? Like one thing, like just this would be the one little linchpin.
Oh man, that's a good question. I would change I lived 90 miles from Los Angeles for a good part of my life. Okay. I went to Disneyland. I went to all those places and all that stuff. And I played in LA so much. And one of my friends just retired as the CFO from Sony Pictures. Okay. And he took me on the Sony parking lot before he retired. And he said, I want to take you and I want to show you my office. I'm taking you to the top. We went all the way to the top, and we went to where Jeopardy was filmed. We went to where all these different things were filmed. And I thought, this is all perception. This is all smoke and mirrors. There's nothing real about this, except the people that you put in the place inside of those places. That's real. And I thought, man, if we could just make it real and not have to go on. I'm going to sing you a song in a minute, and I don't have anything treating my voice. I don't have anything that's going to make me sound better. I didn't steal this song from somebody. Somebody else didn't write this song for me. I had to do it myself. You know what I mean? So if there was one thing I could change about the industry, it's the level of the smoke and mirrors. I don't know if that makes sense.
That makes me think right away of, I think it was George Strait's movie, how he's like, pure country. right?
He got sick of it and left. He's like, I'm done with
the
this.
story in that movie, right? It's just bring it down to the skill.
Raw music. Yeah. Raw music.
Yes.
Yeah.
And from that, you will get if you just start with the pure, it will turn into something great. It will.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's the one thing, because I'm going to tell you what, I've met some people that they look like they were amazing. They look like they look like Miranda Lambert. They look like Faith Hill. And then when you meet them in person, they can't sing and they don't look anything like them.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. I'm like, okay, so
a glimpse of that. You see what we never would see. Yeah.
Right.
you
no more.
you want to see it. So be happy that you know what, Carrie Underwood looks like now, right? I mean, what these people, that's what has happened. Now, Carrie Underwood, that's a whole other thing. Obviously, she was the American Idol, right?
Yeah.
She didn't have to do it the way maybe Reba McEntire did it. You know what I mean? Reba McEntire was not on American Idol.
She had to go to the offices and do the backstage work, but I think they're equally hard. She put herself out there. Oh, a college-age girl put herself out there against her own nerves, and look what she has built herself.
Unreal.
And she can sing.
And Dolly Parton, another one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is, she's really the queen of country.
Mm-hmm.
The most successful female country musician that walks on the earth.
And songwriter. I don't know how old I was before I realized how many of my favorite songs she wrote, not even country. And I'm like, who? I didn't. You know what you know, and then I knew. But that blew my mind as a teenager or a young adult. I'm like, really? That song Whitney Houston sang? That's Dolly's song?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. So just really to put it in a nutshell, like boil it down to authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that kind of does it?
And I'm nodding my head for all the people who are listening. Yes, absolutely.
Right. I love it.
Well, how authentic were you? You jumped in a room with a guitar and sang live in a place you'd never been. That was amazing.
Multiple times. And then I pulled them into other rooms. I'm like,
again.
hey, Steven, do it again. Do it again. They need to hear you. Right? I'm like, hey, they need to hear your song, man. Because again, this is on Instagram here. We'll pull you back over.
There we go.
Because I want you guys to hear this, by the way.
Yes.
Definitely.
Get ready,
you guys
Steven.
to hear it.
We need to get him on stage and girls kind of sing.
That would be great. All right, let's go ahead and let him go.
All right, so this was a song I wrote because my daughter would come up to me during COVID, and entertainers were hit really hard, and I was focusing on really trying to make ends meet, and she would be like, Daddy, can you come outside and, can you come play Barbies with me, or can you come ride bikes, or just spend some time? And I'd be like, I can't right now. And she said, well, can you later? And I'd say, yes, I can. She goes, well, do you pinky promise? And I said, yes, I pinky promise. And she goes, well, you can't break a pinky promise. So I wanted to write a song that captured that whole moment and that whole thought. And here's Pinky Promise. It's going to be released on February 17th. Seems just like yesterday when I was holding your little sweet hand. Wasn't gonna miss the chance to take you to our first daddy-daughter dance. I've shown up late, I've missed some dates along the way. I've made mistakes, I even made your little heart break, but you love me anyway. I'm just learning as I go. It's hard to admit when I don't know when it's right, when it's wrong. Maybe it's taken me a little too long, but I'm here to tell you now, I never ever want to let you down. I'll keep my word, cross my heart, and when you wish upon a star, I'll always be the dad you can trust when you need someone who's honest. And keep every pinky promise. When you're finally driving on your 16th birthday, till the day that you graduate, I'll be standing right there beside you when you say I do on your wedding day, walking you down the aisle, tears in my smile. You're so beautiful, all dressed in white. Might take me a while to say goodbye, locking fingers one more time. I'm just learning as I go. It's hard to admit when I don't know when it's right, when it's wrong. Maybe it's taken me a little too long, but I'm here to tell you now, I never ever want to let you down. I'll keep my word, cross my heart. When you wish upon a star, I'll always be the dad you can trust when you need someone who's honest. And keep every pinky promise stronger than my words could ever say. Well, I'm just learning as I go. It's hard to admit when I don't know when it's right, when it's wrong. Maybe it's taken me a little too long, but I'm here to tell you now, I never ever want to let you down. I'll keep my word, cross my heart. And when you wish upon a star, I'll always be the dad you can trust when you need someone who's honest. I'll always be the dad you can trust when you need someone who's honest. Yeah. And keep every pinky promise.
Man,
I was crying before you even started.
that is beautiful, man.
So just looking forward to getting this song out there, releasing February 17th, and it's going to be releasing on iTunes. Pre-save it right now on Spotify, pre-save it on iTunes and Apple Music, and really appreciate it. Just to help me get this song out there. That's really what it takes, is just a groundswell of support from people like yourself that will help me get that out there.
Say that again. What can I do? Like, I have iTunes, I have Apple Music.
So we have the link right here.
If
We actually
you download it and save it, does that show or?
So for everyone that's watching right now, so if you go join, if you're on Instagram over here, click join and catch the YouTube link there, because we put the link there in the comments where you can go actually get that song right now on your preferred platform. So I already bought it. I bought it like the night you gave me that link. Man. And I just started downloading your other stuff. I'm like, I got to listen to more of his stuff, because, man, I can tell, and I really, really, I love it whenever you find, music moves us.
Mm-hmm.
It's such an important thing for everything, right?
Yes.
And
it's the universal language.
Yeah,
music.
it's the universal language, but I can tell, man, that is beautiful. It's from the heart, and it's definitely It needs to be a one of those father-daughter songs that's just the new gold standard for wedding.
The wedding song of the year is what it
Yes.
has to be coming out of COVID.
Decade.
This is it. Yeah.
Decade. Yeah, no, for sure.
Well, I've already got another song that I'm thinking about, because this song seems to tailor a little bit more towards the gentleman who's maybe between the 30s and the 55 or something, because he's got that whole thing where he's raising up his kids. And then you become, kind of like your kids are out of the house, right? But you maybe feel like, gosh, I missed my opportunity. Well, I want to write a song called It's Not Too Late.
We need that song. We need that song.
Let me, hey, when you're ready for that song to come out, shoot me a text. Let's talk, and we'll get you back on here. We'll get it out there.
Thank you, Joel. I appreciate that. I'll be back in a second.
Yes, man, that is.
I've got the feels for the rest of the day. It's going to be an emotional day.
Steve,
Right.
Steve, there's, Alexa, play the top songs by Steve and Cade. There you go. He's what he said is it's already been his top thing for the last 2 weeks.
Oh,
Wow. Oh my gosh. That's
get your
awesome.
name out there. We'll get your name out there.
Look at
Thank you.
that. So.
Yeah. Thank you guys. I'm so grateful and so thankful. I mean, I've worked pretty hard to get to this point, but I'm thankful for every piece of sweat that hit the ground. I'm thankful for being able to do it all, and I want to be a legacy act. That's the idea, you know, and let God get the glory for it. And take these messages and let it equalize this country, let it equalize this world, because man, it's, you know, God is going to come. He will come on his white horse blowing the trumpet. Thank you, Lord Jesus, that day is going to happen. But until then, we've got to, you know, even Nehemiah had to rebuild the walls, you know, and I just feel like we've got to protect our families. We need to protect our values, our morals. These are things that all can happen through music. Music is a very powerful tool, just like books and movies.
Right.
You know, and words are huge. So, yeah.
Well, Stephen, I think the only appropriate thing here to do is, I first of all, I want to thank you. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. This is a very, very special episode of Be Growth Driven. And I think the one song we didn't play was On My Way, right? Yeah. So guys, thank you for go today. We're going to put the links in all of the different broadcasts here. Those of you that are over here on Instagram, I'm going to just simply, that's the only description that's going on that Instagram live. And definitely go there today and buy it. Don't delay. And then share it out. Send it to every single dad you can. Just through this audience that we even have listening right now. Come on, 10 people that will listen to you.
There you go, Joel.
Right. So I've already been dinging. I got one of my business partners in the industry there, Russell Gentry's on here too. But definitely I'll share it in your office, start playing it in your office.
Right. Exactly.
So,
hey, if you mind, Joel, where do you guys live?
Omaha,
Nebraska.
Wow.
We're not that far from you.
You're not that far. So I hope we get to visit you guys. So I hope we get to stay in touch. I would love for my family to meet yours. So
yes.
Yeah, like Jesse put up there, it's cold here.
We're gonna come your way.
So
come my way.
Wear our masks.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. Road trip time, right?
Yeah.
So,
fly in for the weekend.
By all means. Yeah, business trip. That's our gal behind the stage there a little bit there. She's
don't look behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Stephen,
much.
Thank
you, Audrey. It's so nice meeting you guys.
Yeah.
You guys are a wonderful couple.
Thank you very much. I think you've made the day of so many people today. And I'm sure that's what brings meaning to what you're doing and working so hard for. So
thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Guys, be sure to join us next week on Be Growth Driven. We have another wonderful episode packed for you, ready to go. We're trying to help people grow, whether it's in business, life, and everywhere else. So thank you again for jumping on. Let's go ahead and let's play On My Way.
I can't buy back all the time that it took to realize all that I had, right, wrong, good, bads, heartbreaks and goodbyes. Two stars aligned and it felt just like I've known you my whole life. I've been through the sheets so perfect that wasn't worth it to all just wasted time. I lived the sheets so close, had to let her go, cause it never really felt just right. That's what I had to go through on my way to you. Just flying by all those billboard signs, standing in between the turquoise blue and your green eyes that change just like a mood ring. I can feel your touch if I drive fast enough. I'm almost there, hold tight. I've been through the sheets so perfect that wasn't worth it to all just wasted time. I lived the sheets so close to have to let never really felt just right. That's what I had to go through on my way to you. Yeah, it took a little bit, but I've been through it. Been through the she's so perfect that wasn't worth it, to all just wasted time. I lived the she's so close to had to let her go, 'cause it never really felt just right.